All right, there we go. Okay, so today we are going to focus on goal setting within Claude. Okay, so there's a new feature that just launched. It actually came from ChatGPT's Codex and it's called slash goal. Okay, so basically the premise is you can set a specific goal inside of Claude Code, and the AI is going to run all the way through until the goal is complete. Now, this is different than in the past where we'd use like loops to like do something over and over again. And typically when we run AI systems, we are the ones driving it. Right? You have to kind of be there manually watching the input and the output. But with goal, you can literally set a specific intention for the AI system. And what happens is it launches not only the agent to build it, but it also launches another agent that monitors whether or not that goal was successful. So in the event the goal wasn't successful, it talks back to the first AI agent and has it continually run all the way through until the success criteria is met. Now, up until this point, we would be the ones having to do the feedback, right? You'd kind of see the output of Claude Code. You would go back in, you would see, that wasn't really right, or something is off. And we would be kind of playing this role of making sure that the goal is actually achievable. With this new feature, the AI system will run over and over and over again in perpetual loops, can run all night, can run for a week if you wanted to, until the goal criteria is met. And this is the first time, like, if you knew what you're doing in the past, you could make your AI coding system like fully hands off, but it kind of took a lot more technical setup. This is the first time I've seen it baked into these systems. And I think this is going to be the first case of the way AI systems are going to operate in the future. And now we have direct access to it through Claude. Now, before we actually go into the technicalities of this, we have to get specific about the goal that we ultimately want to achieve. This is the most important skill set of 2026, which is knowing what should we be doing with these AI systems. Okay? Obviously, with Claude Code, you can do anything. You can build a website, automation, an app, you can build incredible things, but actually understanding and being very deliberate with the goal we are trying to achieve is the most important part, right? It's one thing if you were to have it run a goal that optimizes like organize your desktop. It's a whole other thing if you built it to build you an ads automator so you can continually get new clients. So we have to get very deliberate with the goal that we want to achieve. And so what I've done is I put together a super prompt that I'm going to share with you guys now. And all I want you to do is while I am going through this training, I want you just to throw this prompt into, it can be Claude Code or it can be Claude, the app. And I want you to take it and let it analyze your past conversations. So this prompt, I just put it into the chat. I'll put it into the campus chat too. What it's going to do is it's going to go into all of the prompts and conversations you have had with Claude. It's going to go through all the connectors that are connected into Claude. So if it has access to your Gmail, it'll go look there. If it has access to your Apple Notes, it'll go look there. And what it's going to do, it's going to find you the goal that we want to focus on when it comes to running Claude Code. Okay? I prompted it in a way that it not only looks at all the past conversations, things that maybe you've repeated to the system that you've wanted to do but never got around to, but it also is going to kind of look at you, your business, your greater goal set, and zoom out and try to find the most impactful thing that we can possibly do. And so when it comes to this prompt, and I'll just bring it up on screen so everybody can see it. Here we go. Somebody came off mute and I can hear myself, so let's fix that. So all you need to do is go to the website, copy this prompt. You don't need to read it, and you can either throw it into Claude Chat or preferably throw it into Claude Code. And this is like an example output, okay? So what it did is the prompt went into all the things that I've been doing across the business. And it suggested that I optimize my weekly newsletter. I haven't been sending newsletters. That's true, right? That's the biggest thing. I have a massive email list of 2,000 people, right? I haven't even talked to them in the last couple of months. So it identified this specific goal, right? Operationalize the newsletter, and it estimates if I just start sending one newsletter per week, just based on the conversion rate, that translates to about 14K a year in immediate bottom line revenue. It also found that my paid ads for my workshops returned an 8 times return on ad spend, right? So every time I run an ad, I basically, for every dollar I spend, I make 8. That's a huge asymmetrical upside, right? So it's suggesting that I take that same mechanism and begin running ads for my company. So I'm showing you this because it's not only going to look at all the things that are happening within your project, it's going to analyze your business as a whole, bring it down to the specific goals that are possible and ultimately measurable. Sophia, I'm putting you on mute. And then what it's going to do is it's going to suggest those things back to me, right? And also create a prompt for me that I can ultimately run. Okay, so while we are going through this, I just want you to throw this into Claude Code, let it analyze your whole system, whether it's a Claude Code project, your connectors, anything you have plugged in, and see what it comes back with. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you guys is what this thing actually does. So, goal. So the way that you run this prompt is inside of Claude Code. And by the way, this is a Claude Code specific feature, just so everybody knows. But the way that you run it is instead of doing like /plan, all you have to do is /goal. All right. And so we already went over last week /loop, right? Where you prompt the system, Claude does a thing, it stops, you review it, you prompt again, Claude works, it stops, you review again. This is the old way of doing things. With /goal, what's going to happen is you are going to set the goal, right? That prompt I just sent to you is going to help you define what it is. Claude is going to do it's going to launch 2 agents. It's going to launch Claude, the normal coding agent, and then it's going to launch what we call an evaluator agent. That's just going to check on the work. And it's going to continually run, okay, until the evaluator says, yep, this goal has been achieved. And if it doesn't pass that goal, it's going to go back and it's going to keep on updating the code, updating the whatever it is that you are creating until that goal is cleared. Now, one thing to keep in mind when using /goal is that this system will run for a month if you do not turn it off. Okay, so if you set a goal that's like it's extremely audacious, where it's like maybe clone Facebook.com, right? The whole business, right? It's going to continually run until the thing is complete, right? That would probably take months of time and tokens because Facebook is massive, right? So you want to be very clear in a couple of things. One, be very clear in when you set the goal, it has to be something that the AI can see and the AI can actually determine is complete. So if you say to the system, hey, make these ads really good looking, right? What does that actually mean to the evaluator, right? Is it good looking for a German audience? Is it good looking for the brand? Is it good looking for, you don't want to have any very any criteria that are like very broad. You have to be very specific, and it has to be something that the AI can actually verify. Otherwise, the loop is going to run all the way until the end of time. It will not stop. Now, there is a safety mechanism that you can actually plug in, and it is inside of your prompt. You can actually say to it, only run this loop 20 times. So if you only wanted it to run 20 times with the evaluator, it will stop at that point. You also now have the ability to set a timer. So if you say to the AI, hey, I only want you to run this goal for 45 minutes, it will honor your request, okay? So this is the old way of doing things. We create a loop, we give it feedback, but what we're gonna do today is we're going to focus on creating a goal loop, So how do you actually use this thing? First step, like I said before, I want you to get specific on your goal. This is everything, right? If we are going to spend all these tokens, we're going to let the AI run until the end of time. You're going to make sure, you want to make sure it's focusing on the right thing, okay? Now, the next thing that you're going to have to do is that you are going to have to make sure to run Claude so that it skips your permissions. And the way that you do that is you run Claude dash dash dangerously dash skip dash permissions. I'll put this into the chat. Now, the reason you want to run this in this mode is that when the evaluator is actually running and it's looking at the goal, it will actually stop and ask you, hey, can I loop again? It's not what we want. Okay, we want the AI to just run. And so in order to do that, whether if you're in terminal, you have to run this command, Claude dangerously skip permissions. I'll just put that into the chat so you guys have it, right? Or if you are inside of the Claude app on your computer, okay, you have to make sure you click this button that says bypass permissions. Okay, so if you're using this inside of Claude Code, it's going to be bypass permissions. Now, this is a Claude Code only feature today. In the future, they might bring this to Cowork, they might bring this to chat, but for now, it only is available inside Claude Code. So if you're inside of the app, make sure to turn on bypass permissions. Okay, there might be a setting that you have to go into and it'll prompt you to do so to turn it on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. Step one. Step two is I'm going to run this prompt. Make sure you get your output, right? And also make sure you read the goal. So I'm just going to give you my my specific prompt it gave me. Light School send us a real weekly newsletter on autopilot to own lists. I want you to assemble weekly what we built, that what's on that automatically pulls what Nick's been working on, all the campus lists and updates, all the things I'm doing every single week, and just communicate it to the audience. Great. So what I'll do is I will take this prompt, and inside of Claude Code, I will just do /goal. See how it pops up here? And this is a new shell command, right? Space, put it in, and then I will make sure to read it and make sure it is actually what I want, right? And I'll also say, do not send the newsletter yet, because I don't want it to do that right away. Okay? And I'll put go. So what's going to happen is it's going to analyze the goal set. It's going to launch the agent that's going to only monitor Claude Code. This is like replacing us as the monitoring agent. And then it's going to launch another agent to actually do the build. Okay? And if you want to see its progress, there you go. It says goal set, goal acknowledged, right? If you want to see the progress, you can do /goal, enter, and then you can actually see the goal that's running currently, and you can also see the number of tokens spent, the running time, and things like that. So you can always check on the actual progress of it. Okay, so I'm just going to let this run, and at this point, if you did Claude dangerously skip permissions in the terminal, or if you're in the app and you put bypass permissions, you should be able to get up, step away from the computer fully and completely, and this goal, this prompt will run all the way through until the objective is satisfied, period. Okay? And let me just look at my notes real quick. Okay. Another thing I want to be very specific on, just to reiterate this point. You can make it so that it only runs for a certain number of loops. So you say, I only want you to try this goal 20 times, you can do that. If you only want it to run for 30 minutes, you can do that, right? That might, if you're somebody who's a bit more token sensitive, right, you can do that. But if you have like the $200 a month plan, you're probably not going to have that problem. That's one thing to keep in mind when using this new feature, right? And the other thing to keep in mind is you have to be very specific in terms of the outcome that you are aiming for, right? So here, I said I wanted to autopilot my newsletters, right? Where I'm going to send one per week. Pretty easy for the AI to see, okay, the newsletter was created, the newsletter was sent, right? And there's also going to be something that happens. That information is fully exposed to the AI. In the event you set a goal that the AI cannot see, like for Sophia, it's like, I want you to get 100 more people through the door of my business every day, right? Can the AI see those numbers? Is there a way to track that, right? If the AI can't see that the goal has been satisfied, it's going to continually run again and again and again until the goal is satisfied. So step one, run the prompt that I gave you inside of this post. Step two, analyze the goal, make sure it's good. Step three, make sure Claude dangerously skip permissions is on. Step four, slash goal, paste it in, let it roll. I have been doing this for the last couple of weeks, and this has pretty much replaced basically my whole workflow in terms of how I use Claude Code. And I wanted to put this on your radar, and uh, and that's what I wanted to show you today. It's a different paradigm, right? We basically have stepped into this world where it's no longer us driving the systems. It's us setting an explicit goal and letting the AI drive itself. This is the first, it's not the first system, it's the second system I've seen play this out. This actually was invented by ChatGPT's Codex. They brought it over into Claude Code, but expect to see this pattern play out amongst many different AI systems. The most important thing we need to do today is to set a goal that is in integrity to us, right? Pass it off to the AI, let it do all the grunt work, right? And let it just build on our behalf and become much more comfortable being more in a strategy mode, right? So that's what I wanted to show you guys today. Uh, and now I will open up for questions on goals. Thank you so much.